Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 30th of April. Now, I'm heading out, it's an hour before sunrise. I'm heading out to initially take the sunrise and then take a series of photos to make my usual weekly video. Unfortunately, the weather forecast is not good because we've got a still, clear, cloudless day. At this stage, I'm going to go and head north. I've had a look at the satellite imagery, and that seems to be where the closest cloud is. So that's where I'm heading off. The object today is to look at the effect of clouds on photographic images and to discuss strategies around reducing that effect or the negative effects. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. It is the 30th of April, Saturday the 30th of April, and I started this morning at 6 o'clock and it's just at about 7:15 now. I've already taken a few photos and you've probably already seen those in the early part of the video. Anyway, I'm here at the Convolton Lookout in just enough time to catch sunrise, which is just behind me out here. So that's what I'm doing. I've just taken a photograph into the sun. The last one will probably have too much glare to really be worthwhile. Today is forecast to be a relatively still day. There's a bit of a breeze right now. You can probably hear that in the microphone. But no cloud. And you know how much I hate no cloud. So today's effort is going to be in the northern Vanuatu. It's a trip I've been planning for a little while, waiting for cloud effectively, but today there's none. So I filled up with gas, started at 6, I expect to be home before 12, and I'm going to go to some familiar spots as well as trying to find some new ones. So bear with me and we'll carry on. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm at the Rangiwahia hut now, and I just thought it might be a good opportunity to run through some of the techniques that you can use on days where there's no cloud. And literally, there was cloud early and I chased it, and you'll see it in the first couple of photographs, but it's gone. The first technique I use on these days, and almost always, is getting the exposure for the sky right. And the way I do that is to simply underexpose by what the camera says by one full stop. The other ways you can do it are to use graduated filters. My preference nowadays is to use graduated filters in post-processing rather than use them on the camera. I think the on-camera filters tend to degrade the image a little bit much. Another technique is close cropping. You crop a lot closer, you've got less detail in the sky, so exclude as much of the sky as what you can. The other way of excluding the sky is to photograph subjects where the hills or trees or other things effectively exclude the sky. And one of the photographs which you've probably already seen would be the panorama and the couple of shots that I took at Mangahuia wetlands. And that's probably the best I've seen the wetlands at any stage. A lot of these subjects I've photographed today, I've photographed usually in the afternoon. And some of the photographs that I've done in the afternoon, I've just simply driven past because either the sun is in the image and it's way too bright and it's just going to create lens flare, which I don't mind sometimes, but when it's ridiculous, I don't chase it. So those are the main things that I do. It's from now on, again, these are subjects which I'll photograph in the afternoon, and it's going to be interesting seeing them in mid-morning light because we've just passed golden hour. It's just gone past 8 o'clock. It usually takes me about 2 hours to get to here, but it's only taken me an hour so far. And so I'm just going to photograph the hut. It's going to be interesting with different light on it. Usually the front of the hut has shadow on it, but today there's quite nice highlights. So I'm going to try and get a nice position, take a photograph of it, and get a different composition. Thank you. Well, I'm home now. It's 12 o'clock. It's been an interesting morning with a few challenges, as I think I've alluded to through the video. Now, just before we wrap up, I'm just going to address what clouds do for your images. And the real question is, why do we need clouds? Apart from being pretty in the image, they actually do some pretty important functions for the landscape photographer. The first is clouds in front of and close to the sun actually diffuse and broaden the sun's light, make the light source wider. I like to use the illustration of a studio where effectively a sun on a cloudless day is like a single light studio. Admittedly, there's this big blue reflector called the sky, but the sky's not as effective reflector as the clouds are. So the first part that it does is diffuse the light. The second part is the clouds further away are a lot more effective reflectors of light than the blue sky. Anyway, it's time to wrap the video up. It's been a very enjoyable one to put together. I'm quite keen to get some feedback. Probably I'm going to approach some people to get some specific feedback on this video compared to the others. Now, if you're new to the channel, seriously consider subscribing. If you've watched it for this far, then you owe it yourself to subscribe and watch future videos. There will be more content coming. I'm going to have more time in the future and going to put more effort to the composition and the quality of the content. If you've enjoyed the content in this video, please like the video. And if you want to give me some feedback, please do so by putting a comment in the comments part on the page. Thank you very much for watching. I do really appreciate your feedback and the fact that you've watched this far. Thank you.